So our next question comes from Carson O. Carson says, I love your show and I appreciate you answering questions I've had in the past. I've implemented your suggestions and it's been very helpful. My question today revolves around a couple key secular growth trends that I'm learning about. I'm very bullish on these, and I want to understand what ETFs and stocks you all recommend I learn more about with these secular growth trends. They're nuclear energy, AI, and robotics. Looking forward to learning more about your thoughts. Robert, you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, I think you're in the right place, Carson. We have been very bullish on these secular growth trends as well. And some of our favorites continue to be NVIDIA, Palantir, URA, which is a great uranium ETF that is really important for the nuclear reactors. We believe that one is a really good play long term. But then also Constellation Energy Group, CEG, is one of my favorites as well. And then also Oklo, OKLO. Those are some of the call outs, but I think it's more important to understand why. We believe AI has a long way to go, many, many more years of growth in the AI sector. And I just want to make sure everyone understands this. Austin and I speak on this a lot, that people are so hurry to jump in, make money, and jump out of a secular trend. And it's just really not a smart play. When you look at AI, it is still early in AI, even though we've been talking about it for years now. And that's why I want to make sure everyone slows down and really lets their winners win, because too many people get in, make money, and get out because they're looking for the next shiny ball. And it doesn't always have to be that way. We still love AI, robotics, and nuclear, and think for years to come, it will be great sectors to be in. And those are just some of the call outs that we like right now.
So I want to explain two concepts here, with the first one being piggybacking now on what you just said about AI and the many more years to come. I would imagine, and Robert, maybe you can speak toward this because you actually lived through it. I certainly was a baby, but back in 1999, 2000, the dot-com bubble, I would imagine back then a lot of people were like, oh, this internet fad, it's here, going to be here for a couple of years, let's all make some money, but it's not going to be here forever. Like, what's the next big thing? What an absolute crazy concept to think that the internet was going to be a fad. Everything now, every single thing is now built online, on the internet, in the clouds, right? Everything. And that's not changing. That's not changing anytime soon. And so just imagine if you were on the right side of history for the last 25 years. You had the Amazons, you had the Microsofts, you had the Apples, you had the Googles of the world in your portfolio for the last 25 years. Imagine how much money you would have made because you were right about the internet. And not just right about the internet for a 2-year period, but right about the internet for 25 years, right? Artificial intelligence is the exact same thing. It's only been about 2 years now that we've been really leveraging and using this new technology for business use cases, but this is going to be here for not just another 2 years, but another 20 years, another 30 years, right? And so over the next 25 years, right, just like the internet's been around for about 25 years or so since the dot-com bubble, AI will be here for 25 years plus. I want to be on the right side of that trade. I want to have the artificial intelligence big winners in my own portfolio, like NVIDIA, like Broadcom, like Taiwan Semi, like AMD. So, the hardware, as well as a lot of the software, like the Palantirs, Cloudflare, these cybersecurity names, things of that nature. When Robert and I talk about big things like AI and different things that we're investing into, it's very important. And Robert says, when in doubt, zoom out. It's not just when in doubt, just like all the time, zoom out. All the time, think about over the last 10, 15, 20, 25, 40 years, American capitalism has continued to propel us forward as a country and as a equities market. And it's very important to keep that perspective when it comes to a new technology. It's not just a couple years, it's a couple decades. And the question is, are you patient enough to ride the wave for a couple decades to make generational wealth for you and your family? I am. I very much am. NVIDIA is going to get to a point where they're making hundreds of billions, if not over $1 trillion a year in revenue. There's a point where NVIDIA in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years is going to be the company that is powering all of AI around the whole world if they're not already doing it today. So I guess wrap up this thought about how important it is to be on the right side of a secular growth trend. It's not just about a 2, 3, 4, 5-year period of time. It's about 10, 15, 20, 25 years and just staying invested during that time. And the other thing I want to call out too, Robert, and we talk about this all the time, but I didn't know people weren't familiar with it until we got questions about it during a live stream inside the Rich Habits Network, which is the picks and shovels investing strategy. So back during the California gold rush, when everyone was leaving their hometowns and they were traveling across the country to hopefully find golden nuggets over in California back in the 1800s, right? The people that struck real gold were not the ones that were looking and spending all day trying to pan for gold, find their nugget, and make it big. It was not the miners that made all the money. It was the salespeople that were selling the miners the picks and the shovels and the dream of going to go make these big bets and make all this money with gold. And so whenever you think about the picks and shovels investing strategy, it's not about perhaps the Googles and the Microsofts and the OpenAIs that make a lot of money, which they do, but instead it's the NVIDIAs that are selling them the infrastructure and the ability to go figure out how to make money with AI. And so by investing into the people who are building the infrastructure and allowing other companies to take advantage of this new technology, like Broadcom, like NVIDIA, like nuclear energy, and other things that are going to power this entire new technological revolution, that is the picks and shovels investing strategy, because everyone wants NVIDIA's GPUs. Everyone wants NVIDIA's chips now to go do their own thing with AI. And having that understanding when it comes to any investing strategy is really, really important. Where's the demand going to come from? And are you the person selling the picks and the shovels? Or are you taking your picks and shovels to go and try and maybe find gold somewhere else?
That is an incredible breakdown. And everyone listening needs to understand how important the last 4 minutes of what Austin just said for your future and your portfolio, because we see it every day. I talk to hundreds and hundreds of people a month, and they think investing is this action sports movie with a lot of emotion, and you're getting in a stock, you're getting out of a stock, you're taking profits, you're selling a stock. It's not that. The longer you can look at these secular growth trends and the more consistent you can be and stay in and be able to be a long-term investor, the better off you're going to be. Think back now of how many people probably bought Apple stock and Meta stock and Google stock and Amazon stock early on. It went up 100% over the first 2-3 years. They sold it and they never got back in. Imagine those people if they took profits along the way but kept those stocks. We're in that right now. Should you take profits on NVIDIA? Absolutely. Should you take profits on Palantir? Absolutely. Oklo? Absolutely. But should you stay in those positions as well and continue to dollar cost average over time? Absolutely. So I think the last 4 or 5 minute conversation is probably one of the most important we've ever had to get people to understand long-term investing. Do not get in and out with the shiny ball syndrome and these secular growth trends, and understand you're not supposed to always jump in and jump out, but to build from it. So I love your takeaway on this, Austin. I think it's incredibly important for everyone listening to follow that strategy.